This is the ND Cine C6 monitor. It has a 6-inch Full HD resolution display and it can accept video input up to 4K 30. The price of this monitor is only $290, but the maximum brightness is 2600 nits. So it is one of the most affordable high brightness monitor in the market right now. So in this video, we are going to have a look at the design, the features, and I'm also going to share with you my real world experience using this ND Cine C6 monitor. Kia ora, good morning everyone, Rich Wong here. Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, we are going to have a look at this very affordable ND Cine C6 6-inch monitor. So let's start by talk about the design and feature of this monitor first. The construction of this ND Cine C6 monitor is very plastic. Pretty much the whole outside case of this monitor is made of plastic, which is good and bad thing. The good thing is the plastic makes this monitor pretty lightweight. The monitor, the weight is around 300 grams, and it's always good thing to have a lightweight monitor that is attached onto your camera. The bad thing is the plastic construction definitely make this monitor feels a little bit cheap when you pick it up and hold it in your hand. This monitor can be powered by a Sony L series battery. So there's the battery slot here at the back. Let me install one and turn on it by pressing this power button at the top here. Or you can use a DC power supply to power the monitor if you want. There is a input here, but you have to buy the DC power supply separately. At the top of the monitor, apart from the power button, you also have a little control scroll wheel here, which if you press, then it will trigger the menu at the bottom of the screen. And when you turn it, then it would be able to choose the different menu item there. One interesting thing though is the scroll direction is actually opposite to how the menu scrolling works. I don't know the exact reason, but that seems a little bit confusing to me. On the side of the monitor, we have a full-size HDMI input connector at the top, and then below it, there's another full-size HDMI output port here. The sample I received from ND Cine is the C6 model. There is another one called C6S, which is basically the same as the C6, but that one is a little bit more expensive because the C6S also has a 3G SDI input and output below here, which the C6 version doesn't have. At the back of the monitor, apart from the battery slot in the middle, there is also a little cooling fan. You can adjust the speed of the cooling fan through the user menu. You can set it to off, or you can set it to low, medium, high speed, or you can set it to auto and leave the monitor to adjust the fan speed for you. At the bottom of the monitor, we have the 3.5mm headphone jack here for you to plug in a headphone to monitor the audio. And then next to it, we have the DC input port if you want to power it using a DC power adapter. And there is a mounting thread here. There are two mounting threads that is on this monitor. One is at the bottom and one is at the side. And there is also a 8.4 volt DC output if you want to use the battery on the monitor to power something else. And then we also have a SD card slot at the end here for you to either do the firmware update, or you can input your own NUT onto this monitor. This monitor has a touch screen interface, and pretty much all the features can be adjusted through its touch screen interface. So the basic feature, if you slide your finger on the left side of the screen, and you can use it to adjust the brightness of the screen. And if you slide your finger on the right side of the screen, then that is used to adjust the audio volume output through its headphone port. And if you slide up from the bottom, then it would display the menu at the bottom. This is the quick menu, which is the same as if you press this wheel at the top here. And then from here, you can turn on different feature. There are 6 of them available, and also this is customizable. So when you double tap it, then you can choose to enable other feature for each of the 6 slot. So I guess for most of the users, you will customize this bottom menu and assign your most frequently used feature to one of these 6 slots. Double tapping the screen will bring up the full menu, so you have 6 different icons here, and pressing on each of them will bring out another set of submenus. So there are many features that you can enable through one of these 6 icons. There are lots of different on-screen display that you can enable, for example histogram, peaking, false color, different kind of marker. Pretty much any of the on-screen display that you can think of is available on this monitor. If you're filming with a camera that can record in flat picture profile, this monitor has a number of LUT that is already built in, so that you can enable the LUT to visualize what the footage will look like after you apply the correct LUT, or you can input your custom LUT using the SD card slot at the bottom. You can store up to a maximum of 50 different LUT onto this monitor. This monitor comes with a pretty nice carry case for you to protect the monitor when you are carrying around, and also 2 HDMI cables are included. One is the full-size HDMI to micro HDMI, and another one is the full-size to a MIDI HDMI. And also it comes with a bracket so that you can mount the monitor onto the bracket here. And once you mount it onto the monitor, you can tilt the monitor up and down, and then you can tighten it up by using this geared knob at the end of this bracket. I have been using this ND Cine monitor to film various things indoor and outdoor over the last month or so, and there are many things I really like about this monitor, but there are also a few things that I don't really like. Let's talk about the things I like first. First thing, the brightness. This monitor is really bright. One of the biggest problems when you are filming outdoor, especially on a bright sunny day, is the screen is usually not quite bright enough when it wants to compete with the sunlight, especially in the middle of the day. So you cannot see the picture very clearly that is displayed on the screen. But with this ND Cine monitor, I don't find that an issue at all, because the screen is really bright. Even when I'm filming on a bright sunny day in the middle of the day, I never have a problem not able to see the screen clearly, even though it doesn't come with a sunshade. And I have also tried put it side by side with some other monitors that I have. For example, I put it side by side with my AtterBoss Ninja 5. This screen is definitely a lot brighter and a lot easier to see when you are filming on a bright sunny day. The battery consumption of this monitor also seems to be pretty good. I can do half a day of filming continuously, and even at the end of the half day filming, the battery still got plenty of juice left. And I really like how quiet the cooling fan on this monitor is. Right now, I have turned on the cooling fan, but even in this pretty quiet room, I can barely hear the noise from this cooling fan. That makes this monitor really suitable if you want to film in the very quiet place. Okay, now let's talk about the things that I don't really like about this monitor. First, I want to talk about the display. I think overall, the display of this panel is actually pretty good. The color, the contrast, the viewing angle, and of course the brightness are all very good. But I do notice one thing is, the highlight displayed on the screen actually got blown out quite easily, even if the actual content is not actually blown out. I did some side-by-side comparison with the other screens, or even the screen on the camera. I noticed that sometimes in the highlight area, when it's actually not quite blown out yet, but on this ND Cine monitor, it looks like the area has already blown out. And the second thing is, even though I quite like this mounting bracket that comes with the monitor, and I really like the fact that there's an additional cold shoe mount here for me to install additional accessories, but when I want to tilt the monitor in an angle and I want to tighten it up, I should be able to tighten it up by rotating this knob here, but quite often I find it quite tricky if I want to completely lock. and make it not able to move. Yeah, so that's one thing I don't really like about this mounting bracket. And the third thing is the screen on this monitor is very nice, very glossy, but also very reflective. What I found is that when I filming outdoor, especially on a bright sunny day, sometimes there are just a lot of reflection that is visible on the screen, and that makes it harder to actually see the content on the screen. So yeah, these are the three things that I don't really like about this screen. But overall, I think if you consider the price, the specs, and also how bright this monitor is, I think this ND Cine C6 monitor could be a very good affordable choice, especially for people who have to quite regularly shoot under very bright sunlight.